Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I woke up a little bit early this morning, actually really early, because I could feel the AFib going on. Every once in a while that happens where I'll wake up and I can kind of feel my heartbeat, so I have to get some water, maybe pop a magnesium tablet and move on with my day. That is it's kind of weird. If you've got AFib, you can kind of, when it happens, you can kind of feel it. If you've dealt with it enough, you kind of know. I don't have it very often though. I'm usually out of AFib, but every once in a while it'll happen just randomly. Usually when I'm still is when I can feel it if I have it, but I don't have it very often. So when it does happen, I feel like I can recognize it easier now. It's part of living with it. Okay. First from Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29, I got sent this. There's a lot. I've seen a lot of great stuff on Ripple in the last 12 hours. From Stuart XRP, question: recent announcement: Federal Reserve banks are developing a new interbank 24/7, 365 real-time gross clearing and settlement service. Why elect Ripple again to be a part of the U.S. FPC leadership? The only at-large member if they are not doing anything special with Ripple. Pat Thielen from Ripple. So he makes a pretty good point there. And then there was this. I covered the article yesterday about Brad Garlinghouse. He was interviewed by Yahoo Finance, and I think I had talked about what he said about how digital assets were the new world order. But there was a couple of other quotes that I missed out of that, and so these guys found them. Eric Dadoon found this one: the more liquidity there is, that means the spreads get tighter. The tighter the spreads get, the more efficient that corridor gets. The more efficient that corridor is, the more it comes through. It starts to feed itself. And that's, I like the way this is described. It starts to feed itself. And I think that with where utility is concerned with XRP, that it will begin to feed itself over time. And I think that there are going to be a lot of people who bailed on XRP who are going to be so sick to their stomach when they realize just what a juggernaut that they were a part of when this utility slowly ramps up and then eventually kicks in. I believe there are going to be some sick people. Well, maybe they can watch a video from my yacht. No, I would never buy a yacht, but maybe I'll rent a yacht just on principle, lease one for a day. So maybe those sick people can just watch me for a day, and I'll show them some good scenery or something. Okay, and then also from that same interview, and this is interesting right here, XRP Crypto Wolf got this one. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is working on multiple potential investments and acquisitions in the wake of a $30 million investment in MoneyGram. Brad says MoneyGram will start to ramp up in Q4, but really they'll start to see more consequential volumes in Q1 and 2020. I mean, you need to understand, this guy in this same interview, he is not talking about how digital assets such as XRP are a new world order for no reason. He knows that with these acquisitions, at some point, all of this utility is going to begin to ramp up, and that's when the new world order really kicks in. He knows. And then from NBK Crypto, at NBKLYRAD, sent me this. Now, yesterday, my son was at a baseball practice, and I was sitting in the car waiting on him to finish up, and this video was sent. The Digital Asset Investor's official neighbor sent me this video. He asked me if I had seen this, and I had not. And so I went and watched this video. This lady right here is Ripple's head of global regulations. That may not be exactly the title, but she's an attorney and has experience in the SEC and is very smart. But both of these ladies, they had a whole conversation about regulations. I wanted to tell you a couple of the cool things that came out of that. Ripple's head of government relations on VA's regulation around the world. This is a quote from her. The UK classified XRP with non-security attributes. As SEC's Hester Pierce recently noted, these frameworks can serve as a model for countries with less clarity. And then she also, I think there was another, from at Stewart_XRP, digital currency regulation around the world. Ripple's global head of government relations, Michelle Bond, we're actively engaging with 50 governments around the world. And I think the regulators are hearing us. We're actively engaging with 50 governments around the world. You should ask yourself, is your digital currency, is the company that represents the major use case for your digital asset talking to any governments? I don't think they are. Ripple is actively engaged with 50 governments to head off. Now, anybody who's wondering if they're in a digital asset that is going to increase in value, look no further than Libra and what they're going through as a result of just announcing they're going to have a digital asset. If your digital asset, or whoever's working on the major use case for it, if it's not hand in hand with governments, you are cooked, folks. That's why Ripple has always been the no-brainer of no-brainers for me. Okay, and then Jonathan D at XRP_YD7 sent me this. This is from Michelle Bond's Twitter. Striking the right balance between innovation and consumer protection in regulation is critical in this nascent space. Thank you for the great conversation, Monica Long, and she's tweeting out that video that they did. Now, I saw this was an interesting tweet from Peter Schiff, and to be honest, I didn't quite understand exactly what he was saying here. I'll look through the comments here and see if someone kind of points it out. Since Bitcoin's dominance of cryptocurrency, total market capitalization continues to rise. Now at 69%, it's likely that if Bitcoin is being used as a hedge at all, it's altcoin owners hedging their crypto portfolios by increasing their allocation to the highest quality brand. And I can't tell if he's being sarcastic here, calling Bitcoin the quality brand. I think that's what's going on. He says I put quality in quotes for a reason. I think he's being sarcastic. That's the only thing I can figure there. And then we have this from Michael at VAL5 Links. In the last 7 to 8 years, Bitcoin has seen a growth of 170,000%, which has caused the United States dollar to lose 99.999% of its value against Bitcoin. That's a pretty amazing number, 170,000%. Do you know of any other asset that has appreciated like that? I'm not sure what XRP's appreciation was from the inception, but it's a lot. At X Big Time sent me this one. And this is interesting too. This is an article from Forbes, how governments could kill Bitcoin. They talked about this same thing. Remember on CNBC yesterday, I showed you a clip where they asked Brian Kelly how you would kill Bitcoin. And his answer was, the only way that you could possibly do anything like that is to close off the on-ramps and the off-ramps. But you couldn't physically kill it. This one, author of Bitcoin the Standard, however you say that name, the decentralized alternative to central banking. The way for governments to kill Bitcoin is to compete with it. Who competes with Bitcoin and works with governments and regulators? And I think this is the answer, not to how you kill Bitcoin, but I think that this is the answer to why you see XRP and Ripple attacked so much on social media like they are, is because of this right here. XRP is the digital asset that threatens Bitcoin and threatens the Bitcoin dominance, and all of the Bitcoin people know it, and that's the reason that they're always going after XRP and trying to act like they don't understand it and all this. they understand it. They understand that it could literally be the silver bullet for Bitcoin. That is the reason. You don't attack someone who's not a threat. That doesn't happen. Anthony Pompliano tweeted this out. Reminder, when central banks cut rates and print more money, they are trying to make the rich richer by inflating asset prices. That's what they've been doing for the last 10 years, folks. The central bankers have been hooking up the institutions in the stock market and all. That's all they've been doing. This literally steals wealth from those who are not rich and don't own real assets. Just as an example here, when the central banks are cutting rates, what happens to people? What happens to people that don't have a lot of money that just normally put their money in bank CDs? They don't get paid anything, and that's who's been really screwed in this whole thing, is the savers. The people, just average people that work hard and try to save their money, have been screwed by these central banks over the last 10 years plus. And then finally, I think I'll end here. This was an interesting article. I'm not going to go deep into it, but I'm just going to make the point that you're going to see more and more of this hacking stuff go on. It says cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase has revealed that it has been targeted by and foiled a sophisticated, highly targeted, thought out attack. And this is like kind of creepy, because I read part of this article, and basically these hackers were posing as they were sending emails to employees at Coinbase, and actually, the way I read it, they actually knew things about some of the employees. It was kind of really creepy, kind of scary what's going on. But hackers, I mean, this is part of it, is there's going to be more and more of this type of thing. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that I think my AFib's under control now. Thanks for listening.